I think the call to action and the best way to look at it is that it's not just the job of the Latino community or the leaders of the Latino community, and it's not just the job of the African American community and the leaders of that community, or the Asian community and the leaders of that community. It's everyone's job. And I think if everyone starts to do a little bit more, right, and I think to challenge the lack of equal access, we'll all be a lot better off. It's not in the hands of a few. It's in everyone's hands, right? But I think more importantly also is understanding that we all have biases that we're not always aware of, right? And that's where I think the problem with equal access comes up, is where you maybe have a person who doesn't think they have biases, and so they make a lot of decisions with the best of intentions, but it's always informed by those biases, not being aware of them. And so I think we are all responsible for studying ourselves. I think self-study is very important in recognizing that even I have biases, right? And I think it's a strength to admit that and to know it and study it. Some of the best companies on Wall Street, especially companies like JP Morgan, for example, for a lot of their leaders, they have bias training to help make them aware of some of these biases that they might be experiencing, which I think is very, very important, right? And then I think once people start to recognize that, they'll recognize that it is everyone's job to fight for equal access and help provide equal access to underrepresented minorities, women, but also people from lower socioeconomic status, right? It's not always about gender, it's not always about race or ethnicity. Sometimes it could be about the neighborhood that you grew up in, right? I mean, you can be a white male and have grown up very poor, and your perspective is very different to someone who grew up in a wealthy family, and that's diversity. And at the end of the day, it's everyone's job to make sure that we are treating people equitably and that access is as fairly and equally distributed as talent, because talent is equally distributed.